Today I'm going to start production designing the bedroom, so Alice's bedroom. I was going to leave it until next week, which is going to be kind of the major prep week starting from April the 1st, but because I've got so much to do I'm going to crack on with that today, tomorrow. It might take 2 or 3 days maybe. But the first thing I have to do is this, which is to get rid of all of this stuff in the bedroom. I've got to clear out all of this stuff, get that downstairs out of the way, and then I can start kind of doing what I need to do up here. But one of the first things that I need to do before I do that is to get rid of all of this stuff that was originally in the cupboard upstairs, so that's had to be emptied out obviously because that's going to be Alice's cupboard. So I've got to take all of this stuff and put it into storage because I've only got a small house and nowhere to put it, and I need space in this room as well. So all that is going to go into my parents' garage, which is about half a mile from where I live. So I've still got bits and bobs to take out. This chest of drawers is going to be removed and replaced with a different set. I've taken out the base of the bed, just stuck the mattress back down because I need somewhere to sleep tonight. So I'm waiting for a bed that's going to be delivered later on this evening. The little drawers in the corner, that's going to go with the printer on. Wardrobe's going to stay there, might move slightly. That chair's going to be involved in the film, the lamp. Got costume stuff there. So that's the end of the first day of production design on this room. I haven't done very much. So tomorrow the major project is going to be erecting the bed when it comes tonight, but I won't have time to do that after work because I don't finish till 11, so I'm going to be doing that in the first thing in the morning. And then I've got a little mini project which I want to do, just build something, and then I'll probably start kind of arranging this bedroom, and then I think it's going to be, like I say, I thought it was going to be 2 or 3 days, so it's going to be a third day of kind of, you know, putting all the decorations and things in place. So yes, 3 days of hard work coming up, day 1 gone. So back on it again today. All of the stuff has been taken out of the bedroom and it's just piled up downstairs in the living room. So the new bed came yesterday, still in its packaging, so I need to get this upstairs. So I've hauled the bed upstairs. Got all my essential tools, screwdriver, and the most essential thing, a cup of coffee. Right, now I'm ready. Here we go. Some destructions. Get that over there. So now that I've unpacked everything, time for another coffee break. You may be wondering why I bought a brand new bed when I could have just used my old bed and saved a few pounds. Thing is that I need to have a bed where our main character Alice can get under and hide, because that's part of the storyline. So I needed a good clearance underneath the bed for that. And with my old bed, I had one of those divan beds where you had the drawers underneath, so it was literally about that much space underneath, which obviously couldn't get a person underneath. But with this one, I can do that. So Katie, who's playing Alice, who's a lot smaller than me, a bit to get under here quite easily because, I mean, I can get under myself quite easily and get a camera under here easily as well. That's the bed completed. Now for my next project. So while I have another coffee break, I just wanted to explain the little mini project that I wanted to do today. So the bed's up. Next thing I want to do is to make this guy a bit taller than what he is. So I had a few comments from people I know who said he's a bit too small. He doesn't look kind of menacing enough. The Grim Reaper should be a lot taller than that. So the idea is that I'm going to construct a little box for him to stand on. Obviously after I've drunk my coffee. So the intention is to use some of the components of this old bed that I'm going to throw out. So what I intend to use is the front of those drawers to kind of make the top of the box, and kind of take apart the base and use some of the lats and whatever in there to kind of construct the frame and then kind of build it around that. I'm not going to take the camera outside because it's a bit windy, so all you're going to hear is just the wind going across the microphone. So the next thing you'll see is the completed box. So this is what I've managed to knock together with all that scrap wood from the bed. The Grim Reaper is going to stand on this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over the top as well, to obviously disguise all of that crap down there. And he's going to he'll just be stood on here like this. So that's that done. Next thing is to start putting all the major kind of elements into the room. So like the Grim Reaper is going to be stood on that, so I'll get him upstairs. I've got to get a cot upstairs and then start positioning things where I need them to be and start hanging decorations around the room to make it much more Halloweeny, ready for the film. So I managed to get the Grim Reaper up the stairs and positioned. So he's standing on his little plinth now, and he looks a hell of a lot taller and a bit more menacing than he was previously, as you can see. So that's that in place. I've also got the cot is in place here, so that's going to go there. So I've managed to get the new chest of drawers in here, added a few bits and bobs on top of it. But I got a bit sidetracked today because I paid a visit to my brother. Had to collect something from his, and I ended up staying there longer than I anticipated, so I've wasted a bit of time today. But the main thing is I've got the bulk of the big kind of things done, and it's probably just a case of tomorrow putting up all the smaller decorations around the bedroom. So day 3 of production designing the room. I wanted an early start this morning, but I wasn't quite prepared for the start that I had at 10 to 6 this morning. This fella came crashing down at 10 to 6 on top of me in the bed, so I've had to readjust him, and what I've done is I've put, if you can just see underneath there's a bag of material that I've just put in there to kind of weight it down, so it's resting on the Christmas tree stand and the broom that goes up through his entire body, so that's kind of weighting it down as like a sandbag. So luckily it didn't damage the actual model itself. Could have been worse. I mean, it actually landed on the floor amongst some of the other props that I've got kind of down there. Didn't actually touch any of them, actually missed them all. So that could have been a bit of a catastrophe. I would have had to have kind of repaired all the other stuff that I'd made. So yes, right, I need to pull myself round. I'm going to hang some decorations today, so I'm going to do all the nice little kind of artistic-y stuff and place that around, so the room's going to look a lot better by the time I finished. I've got all day, so I'll be working into the evening if I have to. So what I need is a good cup of coffee. Lovely. Okay, so it's 4 o'clock in the evening, and I've been sidetracked with what I was doing today. Had to go out and do a couple of messages, but I have managed to do some stuff. So I managed to get the pentangle and the candles up above the bed. What I did actually to attach these to the wall, I was going to use some little brackets and screws which I bought, but because I had such a success with attaching the sticks to the cot with little kind of double-sided sticky pads, that's all I've done. I've just stuck some sticky pads on the back of this, and it is quite solid on the wall. And I'm trying to pull that now, and it's just absolutely rock solid. So I might have a job getting that off the wall. I've also done this little fella. So this is the giant spider that I've got. We've got a little close up. There's his eyes. Haven't done much else really. So like I say, I was a bit sidetracked today. I'm going to have a little break now for some food, and I'm going to get back on it this evening, and hopefully I'll get 99.9% of everything done in this room tonight. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm going to hang the chains and the handcuffs at the side of each side of the bed. I think about that height is probably best, because if you imagine someone was on the bed and it was at that height, then yeah, that's probably going to reach their wrists. You know, if the arms are kind of spread up behind them, tight to the bed, kind of thing. So that's going to be that. I'm going to use some of this double-sided sticky pad stuff, which is what I use to stick the candles to the wall. So it's really, really strong, this stuff. Handcuffs, actually I've had these for absolute years, just stuck in a box, and they were from a previous film that I was going to do, but they never got used, and I had a few pairs, and they were just from like a costume shop. It says fur love cuffs. Read into that what you will. So they're just fur. They've got like a red, like velvety kind of fur on it, which just pulls off. So they're not actual real handcuffs. They're quite, I mean, they are metal, but they're a bit flimsy. But they're just, you know, ideal for what I want for this. So all you do is just flick a little catch there. They come open. You can just pull that off like that, and then just clip them back in. So I've got my double-sided tape, little pads, I should say, already applied to the chain, the back of the chain, and all I'm going to do is just peel that off. Same with the other one, but I'm going to use, it's very tricky to kind of get the backing to kind of peel away, so I'm using this little scalpel blade, kind of just kind of dig behind it and prise it off. There you go. And then I'll just peel off, same as that other one. There you go. And then all I'm going to do is stick it on here. So I think it's going to be about there where I need it. It's not going to be flush against the wall. These have become quite brittle actually with the spray paint that I'll put on. It's quite brittle, but I think that's going to stay in place. And then all I need to do is to put the handcuff on. That's just going to pop around the last chain, put that in place. There you have it. So I've managed to get both sets of chains and handcuffs on the side of the bed. They're not going to be used in the film, they're just kind of there as another visual kind of Halloween thing for Alice. So Alice is not going to be physically chained to this bed. Like I say, they're just little props for Alice's fucking Halloween kind of evening, as she has planned with her boyfriend. That doesn't sound too good, does it? Right, so moving on to the next thing. So you may remember this mask from previous videos, which feels like a very long time ago since I made these. So you've got that one, and you've got this one. So all three of these masks are going to go on these three little cutie pies. So these are just Alice's toys that are in her bedroom, and she's put these little masks on them, and down there like that. They look like little Ewoks, don't they? These little guys are going to be in the film. They're going to play a little part in the storyline of what happens with Alice and the witch, and they kind of symbolise Alice's childhood. So one of the themes for the film is kind of growing up. And Alice's, it's like the eve of Alice's 18th birthday, so she's still a child, but she's wanting to be an adult. So she's kind of halfway in between. She's still wanting to be a child, but she's wanting to grow up and be an adult as well at the same time. So this is kind of symbolic of her childhood. Also, I've got this bear as well. This one's going to be separate from the other three, and he or she is going to be lying on the bed, but as with Alice, she is going to do something special with him. So we're going to put a bandage around his head. So he's going to have a poorly head, and I'm going to stick some blood on the bandage. Then all I was going to do is, I've got some permanent markers, different colours. I'm going to use red because I want blood. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to put some red on here. So it's as if the blood's kind of soaked through. Right. That'll probably do. So it looks like he's been in the wars. Hey. So this little guy's got a very small part in the film as well. He interacts with Chris, Alice's boyfriend, and all that happens really is that Chris flings him across the room because he gets slightly annoyed with Alice. So they have a little tiff, and he gets the brunt of it. So next up is figuring out where to hang all of these stick figures, corn dollies, crucifixes. So I decided to put the skeleton crucifix up on the wall here. I was going to hang him from the ceiling, but he is now there next to the cupboard. So on the wall next to Alice's mirror, I'm going to put these three stick figures, which look like more or less like stick men. So that's the stick figures up on the wall. So I decided to add this little stick kind of feathery item in the middle of the pentangle, which I had kind of thought about previously. So it looks like a bit of a dead creature, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some fake blood. I've got a small little tube of fake blood, which I've actually had for quite a few years now, from a previous film I did. Can't even remember what it was for, to be honest, but all I'm going to do now is just kind of add some drops of blood to the white feathers. That should kind of stand out really well. So I'm just going to do that. Doesn't look too bad, I suppose, but I might probably add some more blood just before we shoot. Once we get the camera in, see what it looks like on the camera, and probably add some more. I mean, this probably is going to dry out, to be honest, but yeah, I think it's going to look pretty good with the blood. So I've decided to call it a night because I'm absolutely wrecked. Haven't finished doing what I was going to do, so I will probably continue tomorrow. That'll be day 4, and it goes on. So I've just got to plod on, get on with it, I suppose. Time is a ticking, so tomorrow. Okay, so another day production designing. Now I'm starting to hang the little stick figures from the ceiling, as you can see. So I managed to get all of the stick figures, ornaments hanging from the ceiling. They're all up in place now. So that is another job done, completed. What I've done is I've left a section of string hanging there just in case we want to adjust the height of each one. So once we get the camera in, do the camera tests, we may need to adjust some of these, maybe shorten them, lengthen them, whatever. So I've kept a bit of spare kind of string at the top so they can extend. So that is actually looking pretty good. I've got 2 more small jobs to do within the room. I've got work this afternoon, so I haven't got all day like I have had for the last couple of days. But first thing I need to do is coffee break. So one of the other things that I'm going to do in the room is to use this little packet of plastic spiders. So there's 24 spiders in the packet, tiny little spiders. So using the glue gun, what I'm doing is I'm sticking the little spiders on the door, and the idea is I'm gonna have a trail of spiders kind of going up the door. And this is how the spiders look now that I've got them on the door. Nice trail of spiders going up the door. So one of the other things that I bought was this caution chevron tape. And what I've done with that is I've put it on the cupboard door. So that's just another little thing in the room that Alice has added. Okay, so the last thing that I've done today is I've put the lights up in the bedroom. I've closed the curtains so you can see the effect. So this is what it looks like. So I've added the fairy lights around the room, basically above the bed, and I've put the candle lights are on, flickering. And around the little tree jar thingamajig. So you get the idea of what it's kind of going to look like when we do film. This kind of, dark, creepy atmosphere. Obviously, it's not going to look the same as this because this is just on my mobile phone. So when you get the actual camera in, it's going to look the business like. And obviously, it's still daylight at the minute. I haven't blocked out the windows or anything like that. So this gives you a general idea of what I was kind of going for. So that's 4 days of production designing the room completed. It's taken a lot longer than I thought it would, so I'm really pleased that I actually did it now and not next week, which would be the actual kind of prep week when I was going to do it, because I think I would have been panicking quite a bit. So I've still got bits to do, yeah, fair bit of work to do, but the bulk of it's done. So it's just kind of doing a lot of paperwork and bits of organisation and that kind of stuff. So the pressure's off really from that kind of perspective, but really looking forward to the shoot, which starts 2 weeks today. So yeah, still work to do, but hopefully we'll get there.